9 big games across 4 long days. It was a marathon that began with a whimper, and if you were Collingwood, ended with one, but was nonetheless full of incident. Let's look at the pick of it all in hot or not. I led off last week. You're going to lead this week.
Sam, I think J. Reid, hadn't played for 3 years. Former Western Bulldog with GWS, lost in the NEFL, came back. Obviously he's been playing well because they brought him back for a big game against Sydney, kicked a really important goal, and the team just got around. I just think it's a great story of persistence, and they feel more like a club now. All the players obviously really like the bloke because of what he's been through at the club, and it's all about the club and the player, and it was real to me, and I really liked it, and well done, Sam J. Reid.
How many players of similar names do we have now? There's 2 Nathan Browns, 2 Sam Reids. Mm-hmm. There's someone else, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there's more. There's 2 Mitch Browns.
2 Mitch Browns.
2 Josh Kennedys.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Noah's Ark.
2 Scott
Noah's
Thompsons.
Ark. 2 Scott Thompsons.
I think I've got.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good at that. Okay, my lead, hot or not this week. Hot is Melbourne. Fantastic performance at the G yesterday. I was lucky enough to be there to see it. It's the sort of stage on which we've seen them fall over so often previously. Hadn't won a Queen's birthday game against the Pies since 2007. And they just blew them off the park. Fantastic second quarter, 7 goals, and just held them at bay. Their midfield dominated.
How about Dean Kent?
He's really emerging as a player.
Strong player, yeah. and likes a goal.
Yeah, I think you've got to be able to play if you've got sleeves of tats. I've got a bit of an anti-tat thing happening. I know.
No, it was a very good.
Don't show it again.
Not mine. It was a good weekend for tattoos.
Who else?
Tim Membry.
Oh yeah. He's coming of age too. Yeah, but look, Demons across the board. They're really. But we do the credibility ladder. They're certainly starting to fly up the rungs of the credibility ladder, and as a scene setter for what's in store for them over the next 2 years, great experience for them. You're up. Not
hot.
Yep.
I mean, this is there's an example. Mark J. Mars kicking. Did you see that? We've got footage of it.
We do have monitors here. Anytime you'd like to turn them on, guys, feel free. But I do recall Mark J. Mars kicking.
That was so rank amateur. It almost as though he'd never kicked a football before in his life.
The first one was probably
it was just terrible.
The worst kick of the season so far.
Except it got bested. Did you see Sam Gilbert try and kick across ground against Carlton? He tried to do the switch. The ball travelled 25 metres, but he switched it. It sort of just drifted right back into Carlton players' hands. And then there was another kick that was just as bad. Batchelor had a shot from 50 metres out. It didn't go 20 metres. He just sort of missed the ball from the set shot. So Whitfield missed from the goal square.
Okay, so your not is kicking in general.
Yeah, especially when Cam Smith can kick a conversion from the byline when his feet go from underneath him and he lands on his backside. Our blokes were terrible on the weekend, the AFL guys.
All right, very good. I'm coming up with a not now, and it's Friday night stinkers. Now, we've had a few of them this year. Coincidentally or not, 2 of them involve Essendon. Port Adelaide Essendon, shocking Friday night game. West Coast Richmond, I think the week after, almost as bad. North Melbourne Richmond in Hobart, all we got to hear about was how cold it was all night. I mean, why would you schedule a game like that for a Friday night in Hobart? And then topped, of course, by the absolute debacle of Essendon Hawthorn Friday night. Now, Scott Lucas on SEN came up with again, not the first time, but the flexible fixture proposal. The more I think about it, the more I think it makes sense. I mean, as long as there's enough notice, you've got some idea, say 6 weeks out, whether a game's going to be reasonably entertaining or not. Now, I don't see that the travel packages people buy, why can't they be flexible enough to cater to it?
I remember in the 90s, shifting games was the ultimate compliment you could pay to a team.
To a bigger stadium, yeah.
Yeah, so a Footscray or a Fitzroy, even a North Melbourne would have a little run of good form and they'd be told another win and we might transfer the round 17 game against Collingwood from Arden Street to VFL Park. It was it was flexible and it was good.
Now we're locked in through the whims of some Johnny-come-latelys who want to have a long weekend in Melbourne.
And it's written in stone because of the corporate commitments. Exactly. Because Jack McMillionaire can only eat sirloin of beef on a Friday night. On Saturday night, he is unavailable.
I've had the beef sirloin. It's not great. Okay, last one.
I never thought I'd say this. Hot, and I really mean it, is Jack Watts. He's now an acceptable AFL footballer. Not a superstar, but a damn acceptable AFL footballer. Do you know this year he's kicked 24 goals in 12 games? His best haul since making his debut in 2009 for a season was 2013, 22 goals, and he's already surpassed that with 12 games played and 10 to go.
No, it's been good. Very consistent
a good
season.
Footballer.
But I think I can top that hot with my own last hot, Patrick Dangerfield. In 33 years of covering football, I've awarded 3 10 out of 10s. This was my third Saturday night. The perfect game. 48 disposals, 13 clearances, 10 centre bounce clearances, unheard of, 83% disposal efficiency, 2 goals, 11 inside 50s. It was Dangerfield versus North Melbourne. Actually, that's not fair because he had a lot of teammates who played well, but the man is a gun, and Selwood and Dangerfield, or as I've now dubbed them, Dangerwood, is threatening to become one of the great sporting duos in Australian history.
I like Selfield. They're a great pair of players. But you're a Geelong sycophant because your other 2 10s were Geelong.
They were too, yes, and they were Joel Selwood, funnily enough, 7 years ago, and Gary Ablett Sr. for that 14 goals in the losing game.
Do you know the first ever Sun score? The Sun, when it was just the Sun, used to have the Sun score.
I did Sun score, yeah.
Do you know who the first ever 10 was?
I don't.
It was extraordinary.
Who
Ricky
was it?
Quaid.
Ricky Quaid. Actually, I've got a funny memory of that. Geez, we're old. Time for a short break now. When we come back, our newshound smells crisis in a northern football state and takes a look at a coaching succession plan that seems to have delivered everything but the success. But first, let's catch up with the post-game press conferences where Grant Dickinson won't be taken for a fool, which is why he never sits with the other journos. And while they're asking the Dorothy Dixes, he's asking the pressing questions.
Jose, Grant Dickinson from Footyology, is there any truth to the rumour you might be coaching the Brisbane Lions next year? The AFL side, yeah. Because we heard Brisbane Lions? Yeah.
I know who it was, It's Portuguese or Brazilian?
It's in Brisbane. It's in Brisbane.